We're in Dunbartonshire, we're on Loch Lomond, and today's postcard is from Luss. Let's take a stroll up here. Now, people who've seen the Scottish television drama, Take the High Road, now known as just High Road,
Yes.
would recognise much of the scenery, wouldn't they?
That's right. This is they're here a couple of days a week doing the outside sets, and it's become very popular. People come here from all over on their busloads to see where Take the High Road is filmed.
That's the pier. Does that mean lots of boats come here?
Well, at one time, yes, the boat called the Maid of the Loch used to travel around the loch, and people used to come in their droves. But that's not been going to go for a long time now. Although they're hoping to put it back on in the near future. But lots of small boats, yes, they come up here, private boats, and use the pier. So it's still used yet. And it's a good sturdy one by the looks of it.
What's the main, what would you call it? Little port, I suppose you call it, inland port. Would it be Ballach?
Ballach, that's right, that's where most, Ballach, and also over at Balmahat and the far side, a lot of private yachts and power boats there, but I think Ballach would be the main place on the River Leven there, and there's a good few hundred there, so it's very popular, and quite a few of these day trip boats as well, so they come up here and let people have a look around Luss for half an hour or so.
Now, the name Luss doesn't sound very Scottish to me, but I suppose it must be, because we're in Scotland.
Well, one of the derivations, I've heard one or two, but they say that it may come from French, in fact, the fleur de lis, Luss, because of the flowers that were used in one of the early saints. I think they used this on his coffin or whatever, so that from the herbs, you know, so it could come from lis or Luss.
So I'm right then?
Yes.
It's more French than Scottish.
Oh yes, oh a lot of French spoken in Scotland, of course, especially with Scotland's old alliance over the many hundreds of years.
That's right, yes.
Well, lots of the architecture as well, as you'll notice, the little fluted roofs and things like that, which can be quite delightful.
Looking at the architecture, we've got these delightful little cottages in the village along here. This is the backside, isn't it?
Yes.
And the whole of Luss seems to be full of these little tiny cottagey type places.
Yes, some of these ones along the waterside here are some of the oldest, in fact, in Luss, and go back to the early 1700s.
Has there been many famous visitors to this village?
Well, certainly Wadsworth, Johnson and Boswell, when they went on their Highland tour after the 1746 rebellion, they came through in their Highland tour as well. Jimmy Carter, President Jimmy Carter,
Yeah.
he was here 2 years ago, stayed at one of the hotels just at Luss here, and so it still attracts some people. Again, the scenery is just outstanding.
Well, it is, because you've got Loch Lomond, you've got Ben Lomond over there, and you've got some little boats here, so there's still some. The Silver Queen is over there.
Yes.
And other boats like it. The church, let's wander up to the church, because that looks like it could be very interesting.
Very special church.
The Church of St Macassog's in Luss, like the rest of the village, is well known for the popular soap High Road. Some of the graves in the churchyard date back to the 6th century. Local historian and tour guide Gordon Ross shows me round. Now, we should really call this a kirk, shouldn't we?
That's right.
That's right. And Church of Scotland, this would be?
Church of Scotland, that's right.
It
Kirk, probably the name Kirk itself comes from Scandinavia. They use that word there. It's the same in Germany as well, Kirk, and probably came from Scandinavia.
Look at
Here's
that.
one of the old stones here. This is called the McFarlane stone. Better death remains. Can't quite read it, but 1612.
Matthew, and done the interesting
Yes,
skull and
skull and
crossbones. We
crossbones.
saw one of those in Newchurch in Pendle in Lancashire.
Ah, yes.
There, and lots of people thought it's actually where one of the Pendle witches were buried.
Right, yes.
But it was probably that was the thing that they used to actually put on gravestones.
That's right. It was just a sign of death. It didn't mean anything else.
Your own mortality. Remind you of your
That's right.
mortality,
That's
Gordon.
This cold weather, you never know, you know.
But you don't wear anything underneath that anyway, do you?
Oh, true Scotsman, right to the end. Here's part of the
It's
old
not
church.
true, because his knicker elastic's gone, and he has to keep pulling it up, don't you?
Here's part of the old church here now from 1770. You can just see parts
This one
of it
down
there.
here?
Yep, and a little part over to the side here.
Right.
So it's nice that these little bits are still around.
Where would be the old ruins?
Some of the older stones are just round to the right-hand side, but there are some very old ones just over here. You can see this one lying here with a flat stone with the snow on top there. This is a pretty old stone. Some of the older stones you can recognise because until about the 16th century, nothing was actually written on a lot of stones. It wasn't put in anyone's name. There was just perhaps a simple cross or something. So they didn't really start putting names, etc., on until about, I think, the 16th, 17th century.
So as the ruins go back that far, 6th century, obviously there were people living in Luss all of that time.
Yes, there's been people here. It's been a holy site for a long, long time. The clan MacFarlane used it. In fact, the Coons and the MacFarlane are the two main clans of this area. So the MacFarlanes had this as a holy site, but they eventually built a church slightly further north at Tarbert. But the Cahoons used this as their main sort of church area. So it's been a holy site going back a long, long way. And one of the famous people who kind of visited here in 1263 were the Vikings. So there's a bit of Viking influence here as well. In fact, we'll show you a Viking grave round the far side there, which is still there. Yep. The people even come from afar, of course, to get married here as well. And this is the place that Noel Edmonds got married.
Oh, do you reckon Mr. Blubby was the chief bridesmaid?
Best man or something?
Best man, that would be it. Yeah. Oh, now that must be it.
This is it. This is the special one. This is the Viking stone. Reckoned to have been from 1263 when the Vikings they sailed up Loch Long. They came over at Tarbert, just a little further north from here, dragged their ships into Loch Lomond, and then sailed down, raping and pillaging and doing all the things they do. And we must have got one because here's the Viking grave. But interesting, you see the shape on the stone. This is a Viking longhouse, and you see the shingled roof, the wooden shingled roof. Yep.
And like little pillars.
Yes. So it's an interesting stone.
It is.
Just like this older stone to the right. There's no markings on it.
This one here?
It's possibly Celtic, possibly old Celtic stone. And nothing on it at all. No names, no cross, no nothing. Just a plain stone. So it could be Celtic, or maybe one of the old Cruithne people who used to live around this area. People call them the Picts, but the real name was the Cruithne. And this may be an old Cruithne stone.
So the local tribe was the Cruithne?
Yes, that's right. Like a standing stone almost, isn't it?
And in memory of someone?
I would think so. Possibly a chief.